will be on the record to take up the case of the state versus Stacey James Wondra, CR 3825-1295. We have Mr. Phelps present on behalf of the state. We have Mr. Geddes present on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Gobia present. Statements today, you have a right against self-incrimination. If you do make any statements, those can be used against you in later proceedings. Do you understand that? Is there one of you that will be handling today's meeting? Mr. Geddes. Mr. Geddes, have you had a chance to review the information and the information part 2 with your client? And would you waive all reading of those documents on his behalf? Unless he's made correct in those documents. Alright, so Mr. Wondra, the charges in the information part 1, count 1 is murder in the first degree, a felony, alleged to have been committed on or about the 27th day of July, 2021, in the county of Payette, state of Idaho. The state alleges that was in perpetration of or attempt to perpetrate a kidnapping, kill, and murder MB a human being in violation of Idaho Code 184001, 184002, and 184003. In count 2, the state alleges the charge of kidnapping in the second degree, also a felony. It's alleged that crime occurred on or about the 27th day of July of 2021 here in the county of Payette, state of Idaho. Alleged that he did without willfully and without lawful authority seize and or confine and or leave and or take and or entice away MV with the intent to cause him to be secretly confined and or imprisoned and or detained against his will in violation of Idaho Code 184501, 184502, and 184503. In count 3, the state alleges the charge of destruction and or alteration and or concealment of evidence, also a felony. The state alleges that that crime occurred on or about the 27th day of July, 2021, and the 21st day of May, 2025, in the county of Payette, state of Idaho, and that you did willfully destroy and or alter and or conceal a thing, to wit, body and or DNA evidence, and or vehicle and or furniture, and or phones, and or SIM card and or computer evidence, and or phone evidence, and or visual and or electronic evidence, knowing that they were about to be produced, used, or discovered as evidence in a felony investigation with the intent to prevent them from being so produced, used, or discovered. You understand those charges, Mr. Wondra? In count 2, part 2 of the felony information, the state alleges that pursuant to Idaho Code Rule 7 and Idaho Code 1925-14, you are a persistent violator of the law based on 2 prior felony convictions. The first prior felony conviction, the state alleges, occurred on or about the 4th day of June 2020 in a Canyon County matter, and the conviction of the felony of issuing a check with insufficient funds. The second prior conviction, the state alleges, is an April 4th, 2019 conviction in the state of Montana for the felony of false statement during a firearms transaction in the federal court for the state of Montana, also a felony. Do you understand part 2 of the information and what's being alleged, Mr. Wondra? The penalties for these charges. Count 1 for the first degree murder, it's a maximum of up to death penalty or life in prison, a maximum fine of $50,000, a minimum of life in prison, 10 years of which must be fixed. There's no possibility for parole, probation, or more judgment. And the court has discretion to impose up to a $5,000 civil penalty in favor of the victim for that charge. And if they being felony requires a DNA sample and some confession. Count 2, the charge of second degree kidnapping is a maximum of 25 years in prison, a maximum $50,000 fine, or both such penalty imprisonment. A minimum mandatory minimum prison sentence of 1 year. It also requires a DNA sample and right confession. Count 3, the felony destruction or concealment of evidence is a maximum of 5 years prison, a maximum $10,000 fine, or both such prison sentence and fine, with no mandatory minimum, and it also requires a DNA sample and right confession of whoever gives it. Part 2, the sentencing enhancement for being a persistent violator. is a maximum of up to life in prison and a mandatory minimum prison sentence of 5 years. And also requires to be an example of midnight confession. Do you understand all of these potential penalties, Mr. Wondra? If you are convicted of more than one of these counts, the court can order those penalties to be served consecutively, meaning back to back. Do you understand that as well? You can enter a plea of guilty, not guilty, stand silent, or request some reasonable additional time before entering a plea. Mr. Geddes, how would you plan to plead today? I'll order Madam Clerk to enter the not guilty pleas to each count. And with respect to trial, we have a right to a speedy and public trial. By Idaho Code directs that the state has to bring the trial within 6 months from the date of filing of the information. In your case, that will be a trial by September 18th of this year. And you know that Mr. Whiting has given us, Judge Whiting has given us a date for the next court hearing for a scheduling conference, so that you can go ahead and schedule the trial with him and based on his calendar. Is that agreeable to all the parties?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Madam Clerk, that date is handled? April 15th at 10 a.m. An in-person scheduling conference with the trial and pretrial set at that time with Judge Whiting. Is there, well, I don't believe that there's anything else to take up, nor that I could take up, given the procedural posture of this case. But anything further to skip?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further from the
All right. Well, there is the hearing that I was trying to stream earlier. I'm just not sure why things aren't being streamed, that they're being recorded and then posted after the fact. I can't find anything in his docket that says why that's happening. Now, something to know is that this was his arraignment in district court. So he had a preliminary hearing at the end of March, or in March, in which the judge did determine that his case could be bound over for trial in district court. So it's a new judge. This is not his new judge. It will be a new judge going forward. So we will see what that judge does with streaming. There are several local news sites in the Boise area that have the right to film and be in the room. Sure would like him to be able to stream rather than posting after the fact. But I guess if we know that's the case, I can always just stream it after the fact. So we'll get with this. I am going to post today also the closing arguments and the judge's decision in the preliminary hearing, so that you can hear what was presented, what the case is against him. If you recall, this is Stacey Wondra. We've been talking about Stacey Wondra on True Crime Squad for a long time now, because this is the kidnap and murder of Michael Vaughan from Fruitland, Idaho. And we've been covering that from the very beginning over on True Crime Squad. Lots of things have happened that have not allowed anyone to go to trial for this case until now. Now, there are 4 people who are identified as being involved in Michael Vaughan's death, Stacey Wondra being the first one to be tried. We'll see what happens with the others. It's an interesting situation. Two of the individuals are the police do not have hold of. The third is Stacey's ex-wife, and she is in prison right now for other charges. I think there are also competency questions for Sarah Wondra. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to post the end of the preliminary hearing so that you can see what happens there. Sounds like there's court on April 15th, so I'll be keeping a close eye on things. When I couldn't find this stream earlier, it was coming right from one of the news sites. It came from one of the news sites I was watching, and they didn't ever go live. So they recorded this and then uploaded it. So if that's the way we're going to have to watch this play out, that's what we will do, because this is an Idaho case and it's very close to our hearts, obviously, here at True Crime Squad and True Crime Squad Trials. So thanks for hanging in there with me earlier. Sorry that didn't play out, but here you go. This is what we would have watched. And we'll just keep on moving forward. So as always, we are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.